Breaking news, Iraq is entering a critical phase tonight as political momentum, economic stability, and structural reforms begin to converge at a decisive moment. Good evening. We begin tonight with major developments out of Iraq, where after months of political delays and institutional stagnation, new signals suggest that movement toward resolution may finally be underway. At the center of this development is a long-awaited parliamentary session to elect the President of the Republic, a process that has been repeatedly postponed since late last year due to internal divisions and the inability to secure quorum. However, in the past 24 to 48 hours, there has been a noticeable shift. Multiple major parliamentary blocs have now publicly confirmed their intention to attend the upcoming session. These include some of the largest and most influential political coalitions within Iraq's legislative framework. This marks one of the strongest public displays of political alignment seen in recent months. For context, quorum, the minimum number of members required to conduct official business, has been the primary obstacle preventing progress. Without it, no vote can legally take place. Now, with increasing commitments from key blocs, the likelihood of achieving quorum appears significantly higher than in previous attempts. In addition to this internal alignment, external pressure is also increasing. Senior Kurdish leadership has issued direct and public calls urging all political factions to attend the session and fulfill what has been described as a constitutional responsibility. These statements carry considerable weight, particularly given the role Kurdish parties play in the presidential selection process. The tone of these communications suggests a growing urgency to resolve the deadlock. Despite this momentum, not all factions are fully aligned. There have been reports indicating that certain groups may still attempt to delay or boycott the session. However, with a broad coalition of major blocs already committed, these efforts are increasingly viewed as limited in their capacity to disrupt the overall process. In previous months, similar resistance was enough to halt proceedings. This time, the balance appears to be shifting. If the session proceeds as planned and a president is successfully elected, the implications are significant. Under Iraq's constitutional framework, the election of a president is a prerequisite for the nomination of a prime minister and the formation of a new government. This means that a successful vote could effectively restart Iraq's political system, enabling long-delayed policy decisions and administrative actions to move forward. While political developments are gaining attention, it is equally important to examine what has been happening in the economic background. Despite the political gridlock, Iraq has continued to advance several key economic reforms. These include the expansion of electronic payment systems, improvements in financial transparency, and efforts to modernize trade and customs infrastructure. One of the most notable developments is the ongoing initiative to unify customs procedures across all border crossings, including those within the Kurdistan region. This initiative is designed to centralize revenue collection, reduce inefficiencies, and strengthen oversight. If fully implemented, it could significantly increase non-oil revenue and enhance fiscal stability. It also represents a broader push toward institutional integration between federal authorities and regional administrations. At the same time, Iraq's monetary environment remains stable. The official exchange rate continues to be maintained within the range of approximately 1,310 to 1,320 dinars per US dollar. This stability has been consistent over an extended period and reflects a deliberate policy approach by financial authorities. According to official advisors, this stability is supported by several underlying factors. First, Iraq maintains strong foreign currency reserves. These reserves are reported to cover more than 1 year of imports, a level significantly higher than the global benchmark, which typically ranges around 3 months. This provides a substantial buffer against external economic shocks. Second, Iraq has accumulated significant stockpiles of essential goods, both at the government level and within the private sector. These reserves help ensure supply continuity and price stability, even during periods of regional disruption. Third, alternative trade routes have been actively utilized to maintain the flow of goods into the country. This has been particularly important given ongoing geopolitical tensions in the region, which have affected traditional logistics pathways. Despite these external pressures, Iraq's internal market has remained relatively stable, price fluctuations have been limited, and the overall economic system has demonstrated resilience. Financial experts note that this level of stability is not accidental. It is the result of coordinated policy measures, prudent financial management, and sustained efforts to strengthen institutional frameworks. At the same time, officials continue to emphasize caution. There have been no formal announcements indicating any immediate changes to exchange rate policy or monetary structure. Public statements from financial authorities consistently highlight a commitment to stability, gradual reform, and long-term sustainability. This approach aligns with standard central banking practices, particularly in environments where abrupt changes could introduce volatility or disrupt market confidence. However, analysts also point out an important consideration. Over the past several years, Iraq has been building and testing the infrastructure necessary to support potential financial adjustments. This includes improvements in banking systems, digital payment platforms, and regulatory compliance mechanisms. In addition, previous adjustments to the exchange rate have demonstrated that changes can be implemented quickly when deemed necessary. For example, prior rate modifications were executed within a short time frame once policy decisions were finalized. This indicates that while timing remains uncertain, the technical capability for rapid implementation does exist. As a result, the current situation presents a dual reality. On one hand, official policy emphasizes continuity and stability. On the other, the structural groundwork for potential change has already been established. The key variable is timing, and that timing is closely linked to broader political and economic conditions. Returning to the political landscape, the upcoming parliamentary session represents a critical test. It will determine whether the current momentum is sufficient to overcome internal divisions and move the system forward. If successful, it could mark the beginning of a new phase characterized by increased coordination, policy implementation, and institutional stability. If not, delays may continue, although the current trajectory suggests that pressure for resolution is increasing. In the broader context, Iraq's position remains significant. The country holds substantial natural resources, maintains a strategic geographic location, and continues to expand regional trade relationships. These factors contribute to its long-term economic potential. At the same time, global attention remains focused on developments in the region. Any significant political or economic shift in Iraq has the potential to influence broader market dynamics, particularly in energy and trade sectors. For now, the situation remains fluid, but one point is clear: Iraq is no longer in a static position. Political signals are shifting, economic systems are holding steady, and structural reforms are continuing to advance. Whether these elements converge into immediate outcomes or continue to develop over time will depend on decisions made in the coming days. As always, official confirmation and verified information remain essential. We will continue to monitor these developments closely and provide updates as the situation evolves. For now, all eyes remain on Iraq as the next chapter begins to unfold.